Hey everybody, welcome to What Makes Funny. I'm Andy Wassef, and today we're going to discuss two major styles of comedy, usually done as stand-up, but it could be used in writing a scene or a short film, and that is what could happen versus what does happen. So, let's get right to it.
This is me trying to relax on the plane. This is upright, recline.
Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
So there are basically two different styles of thinking about your comedy. What could happen? Theoretically, this could happen. That's what makes it funny. It's possible. It's within the realm of the imagination that everyone in the audience can relate to, and it's an extreme case that probably hasn't happened, but we get that it could, so we understand what you're saying. And of course, what does happen? And this is basically calling out things that you might not have noticed. And that's what almost like a magician does. A comedian can pull out of a hat. He can pull out thoughts that you've had that you didn't know you had. And a lot of times, what does happen is based on a stereotype. So you understand, oh, that's exactly what happens. And even to this day, with stereotypes being more, everybody's sensitive to stereotypes, what does happen is still a very popular style of comedy. Of course, the great comedians, or any good comedian, can transition between the two. You never know, they have such a bag of tricks that you never quite know what's going to be coming next. So you can't get comfortable with one style. It keeps them on top of their game. But what could happen, these are generally categorized along racial lines. What could happen is generally seen as a white comedy style, and what does happen is generally a black comedy style, as was pointed out in this Simpsons clip.
Yo, check this out. Black guys drive a car like this. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, but white guys, see, they drive a car like this.
It's true. It's true.
So you can see the black comedian talks about how black people drive and how white people drive, and which is what does happen. And Homer Simpson is sitting there on the couch. It's so true that we do that. That could happen. White guy, yeah, that's possible. That's one reaction, certainly, especially the way Homer acts. Yeah. So it incorporates both styles. And once you have a style, then you can, of writing, you can add your performance personality. And, that's where the sky's the limit. There's many different ways to take the same joke. Look at the comedy, The Aristocrats, excuse me. I always get confused with the Disney movie, but The Aristocrats, it's the documentary about that one joke that it's the same joke, but comedians tell it in so many different ways. And that is a joke, what could happen, but then their performance style makes it different. And back in the 80s, there were all these character comedians like your Emo Phillips or Judy Tenuta and Dennis Wolfberg, Gilbert Gottfried, Sam Kinison, and Andrew Dice Clay as well. And they were all what could happen comedians. And they put their own special spin behind that. But you have, by no means are you bound by any sort of racial line. I mean, Don Rickles did all insults, and no one will ever come close to Don Rickles. But that was what does happen. He was riffing off stereotypes most of the time, and it worked for him. George Carlin, some of what could happen, and then he segued more into what does happen later in his career. But he did that even earlier, and we'll look at a couple of his clips. But let's take a look and see some of these different writing styles.
We'll drive a space shuttle like it's a 72 deuce and a quarter. Nigga, we get us a cigarette, nigga, we be in a space shuttle, nigga, like it's a 72 deuce, nigga, we get us. What's up, nigga?
So for everyone here and everyone at home, I have found a way to figure out who's who. It's very easy. All you have to do is listen to the way the person is speaking Spanish. You don't have to understand a single word, just listen to the flow. That'll let you know. For example, Mexicans, when we speak Spanish, we sound high. Seriously, you ask us a question, we drag it out. Hey bro, how's it going?
Pues aquí nomás, hombre. Pues tú sabes, güey.
You know, Cubans, I found out Cubans, you guys speak Spanish, like everything means something. It's very serious. You ask a Cuban a question, bro, where you going? Al baño, coño, carajo, why you wanna know? Just asking, dude. It's like, why is he yelling? I don't know. And I found out Puerto Ricans, you guys speak Spanish like there's a time limit. Ask a question, hey bro, what's up? Oh, mírame bro, el otro día estaba con Hitcher, me estaba platicando que Chacha Benito, yo no sé lo que está pasando aquí, no más por ahí. Dame más gasolina. Just fast. Even Mexicans were like, hey, write that down.
Remember when the ice cream man used to come to town when you was little? And no matter what you was doing, you would stop and lose your fucking mind? There's something about the ice cream truck that made kids lose it. And they can hear that shit from 10 blocks away. They don't hear their mother calling them, but they hear that motherfucking ice cream truck. And no matter what was going on, the ice cream man came and stopped. You be getting some marbles and shit, and you hear... Ice cream! Ice cream! The ice cream man is coming! The ice cream man is coming! Mom! Mom! Those are some money! The ice cream man is coming! Then your mother come to the window and be throwing change. She's saying, "Get your father toasted almond bar, and get your brother icy, and get yourself vanilla cone, and bring back my change." And you catch all that shit and run down the street, top speed, chasing the ice cream truck. Going, ice cream! Ice cream man always drove extra block though, and I know he's seen us and shit, but I think he just be in the car with his friends saying, "Watch me make how fast I make these motherfuckers run."
Now, baseball and football are different from one another in other kind of interesting ways, I think. First of all, baseball is a 19th century pastoral game. Football is a 20th century technological struggle. Baseball is played on a diamond, in a park, the baseball park. Football is played on a gridiron in a stadium, sometimes called Soldier Field or War Memorial Stadium. Baseball begins in the spring, the season of new life. Football begins in the fall when everything is dying. In football, you wear a helmet. In baseball, you wear a cap. Football is concerned with downs. What down is it? Baseball is concerned with ups. Who's up? Are you up? I'm not up. He's up. In football, the specialist comes in to kick. In baseball, the specialist comes in to relieve someone. In football, you receive a penalty. In baseball, you make an error. Whoops.
So there's a selection of what does happen. Cedric the Entertainer talking about how black people would drive a space shuttle because he's basically just doing how they would drive, but imagining it in a space shuttle. It's got the what could happen, but the root of the joke is what does happen. This is how we drive. Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, a.k.a. Fluffy, he's talking about how you can tell what nationality a Latino is by the way they speak. That's how they speak. He's noticed that, and he's put it into a joke, and people are like, yeah, that's true. Even if it's not true exactly, you'll be like, I believe that is true. Okay, he says it with such confidence. That's what they do. Ice Cream Man, of course, an Eddie Murphy classic. Yes, we used to scream with the Ice Cream Man, and Mom would, with the throwing down change if you live, in an apartment above the ground floor. Yeah, I'm sure that's what would happen. The piece that is what could happen is the Ice Cream Man driving one block further after saying, watch how fast I can make these kids run. I mean, they probably just went to drive to their usual spot, but it always seemed to the kids that they were driving past them. And, of course, George Carlin's Football versus Baseball. He's just basically taken all the elements. I mean, he was the master. Him and Seinfeld, there are no better, of just taking every element of a subject and breaking it down and then reconstructing it in this coherent narrative. And that's what does happen. We all get it because we know baseball and football. He's just having us look at it differently. And, of course, the way he does it with his performance, baseball is about ups. Football is downs. That's how you make it your own way. But Carlin also does what could happen, and he did it equally as well early in his career. Take a look at the what could happen clips.
Anytime you turn on your transistor, you just might hear something like the following. Hi there, kids. Welcome to the Willie West Show here on Wonderful Wino Radio. Wonderful Wino. Yeah, welcome to the Willie West Show here on a wonderful Wednesday with your winner spinner, Weird Willie West. Winging your way with 101 wild and woolly wedges of wax and crazy weggets to play on the radio. Right here on Wonderful Wino. 1750 on your dial, just above the police calls, kid. We got stacks and stacks of wax and wax. We got the pick to click, the ones to watch, the oldies but goodies and newies but gooies. We got the top 700 records here in the land of Wonderful Wino. Wonderful Wino. Let's get started with the big rockin' sound. A great new group from England, the Kansas City Boys. Let's hear them. My Baby's Dead.
Hello. Football in my life. I love football. You can be playing football on the football field with a football. But when I play football, I make sure that I always wear protective gear, such as my helmet and them shoulder pads. Don't ever go on the field without these things on, because you could get seriously killed. I myself, when I was a little children, I was playing football with my friends, and my head would accidentally rip from my body. No, and my head was laying in the mud, and my body would run around tackling shit like this. Finally, one of my friends put my head back on my body, and the doctor said that I had Dane Bramage.
That's how they can invent golf. They can have a couple of Guinness, and then the next thing you know, here's my idea for a sport. I knock a ball into a gopher hole. Oh, you mean like pool? No, forget pool. Not with a straight stick. A little broken stick. I whack a ball into a gopher hole. Oh, you mean like croquet? Ah, no, not croquet. That's a pussy sport. I put the whole hundreds of yards away. Oh, kind of like a bowling alley. Oh, no way! I put shit in the way. I put stuff in the way like trees and bushes. So you whack the ball, and you're sitting there whacking away, and you feel like you're going to have a stroke. That's what we'll call it, because every time you hit the ball, you think you're going to die. And right near the end, they'll put a nice flat bit with a tiny flag to give you hope. And they'll put a pool and a sandbox to grab your ball. To do this one time? Oh, no, 18 damn times!
One time, right in the middle of a job interview, I took out a book and I started reading. The guy said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Let me ask you one question. If you were in a vehicle and you were traveling at the speed of light, and then you turned your lights on, would they do anything?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Forget it then, I don't want to work for you."
I'm always thinking about these things, because to me life is very precious. It's very special. We're here for such a short time that everything on this earth should have a reason, should have a beneficial purpose. And I feel like everything does, except for fleas. You know? Fleas do nothing at all beneficial. I always thought at times like this, when we can't figure it out for ourselves, wouldn't it be great if we could just pick up the phone and call up God and ask him these things? Just pick up the phone and call up God. Yeah, hi, God. This is Ellen. Ellen. DeGeneres. DeGeneres. What's so funny? No, I never thought of that. It does sound like that, doesn't it? I get it. Yeah, listen, if you weren't too busy... Sure, hold on. Somebody's at the gate. Onward, Christian soldiers. Yeah, just sing along to your tape. That's it. It's not a tape. They're good. They're great, yeah.
So you can see clearly that is what could happen. There could have been a station, Wonderful Wino, with the fast-talking DJ and the band from London called the Kansas City Boys. These all kind of fit into what was known about these subjects back then. Fast-talking DJs, that's a thing. So he just took it to the nth degree. Robin Williams talking about how golf could have been invented. We weren't there. Certainly, it could have been a bunch of drunken Scotsmen just kind of messing with us. That's how I feel about golf. Ellen DeGeneres playing on using the old Bob Newhart mastered technique of one-sided phone conversation. And if we can't talk to God, but if we could, certainly could have sounded like that. And he could have had the actual angelic voices singing instead of a tape. And then there's Stephen Wright, an interview that, of course, never happened. But we all wish that we were in an interview and if we could have thought outside the box in a time when we're like, well, I don't want to work here. And, of course, Bob Nelson, one of the greats of the 80s, playing a football player. And this is how a football player who's been hit a bunch of times could have spoken. You give him a southern accent, and then all of a sudden he's getting words wrong because he has Dane Brandage. Yeah, we don't know any exact football player like that. There's never been one that was that bad, so he just took it to the nth degree again. That what could happen, playing off our expectations and then giving us the unexpected. Now, just to sum this all up, let's take a look at the great comedian today, Sebastian Maniscalco, doing a little of both. First, what does happen?
It's a different feeling when your doorbell rings today opposed to 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, your doorbell rang, that was a happy moment in your house. It's called company. You'd be sitting there on a Thursday night watching TV, your doorbell rang, the whole family shot off the couch. Oh my God! Put the lights on, somebody's here! We got people! The whole family went went to the door. The kids were in socks. They slid up to the door. Nobody looked to see who it was. All right, you just opened up the door. You were like, oh my God, look at that. Look at us here. And you'd ask them, what the hell are you doing here? And the person would be like, I was in the neighborhood. I thought I might stop by, see how the kids are doing. They're like, oh, come on in. We're gonna have some cake. Your mother had a little Entenmann's. Maybe some Sara Lee crumble cake. Just in case company came over.
Speaking about what does happen, playing off a stereotype of how we all reacted when the doorbell rang in the past. Of course, today, this could happen.
Now your doorbell rings? It's like, what the fuck? All right, your own mother's crawling across the kitchen floor. Get down, my army crawl. Army crawl, get in the closet. Go get the sword in the living room. Somebody get the sword underneath the couch in the living room. There's a sword.
I love that. There's a sword underneath the couch in the living room. How can you not find that funny? But that is what could happen. And the scenario is someone is at the door you do not want. So take that to the nth degree. What could happen? He sets it all up nicely with what did happen. Everybody was welcome, and we all had, there was cake, some sort of cake, he says, Entenmann's. And this is playing off of our own memories, because no one's so weird that they don't, usually, you're not that weird that you can't relate. You just don't realize that this is kind of, it's close enough. You just haven't put this in writing, and he brings up the memories like a magician, like I said, by basically telling you what your experience was. It was something to do with opening the door, meeting them out in the front yard, if you had a yard, and just hanging out for hours. And of course, in this day and age with social media, no, we're not going to be that welcome. It's going to be weird. So he says, what would you do in that? You'd get a sword. You'd have grandma crawling along the floor, trying to avoid being seen. So you see how these two comedic styles can work and can work together in conjunction. What could happen, topped off of, put on top of what does happen. This is how black people drive. This is how they would drive if it was a space shuttle. And just going from there, pay attention to what experiences you have, write them down. Obviously, you have to, put them on paper or try them out if you're doing stand-up. Go on stage, just see if it works. Try some what could happen, what does happen, see what you're better at writing. Ask your friends if it's just a scene or a short film. Ask your friends to read it and give feedback, and just keep at it. This is how you get good at comedy. Knowing all the great comedians and getting inspired by them and kind of working off something that they might have done previous. Ellen DeGeneres took Bob Newhart and just made it her own, and that's fine. Well, that is what could happen versus what does happen. If you liked it, please hit the like button below. It's a thumbs up. You can't miss it. No, the one to the left of that. And if you have any comments, thoughts of new videos for me to do, please leave them below. Subscribe if you are a fan of discussing or learning about comedy. And until next time, keep on laughing.